Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, we got a few topics to talk about, referring to Ilhan Omar and her status and everything that she got going on right now. I also want to get into a story that I gotta actually pull up, with Canada, going into business with China and how that could affect America in a way, or how that looks with them being one of our allies and whatnot. So yeah, I just want to say, man, it's so crazy, just like all the stuff that's just going on right now, bro. Like, it's so much stuff, bro. And like I always say this, man. This is what they want, bro. This stuff that's going on right now is by design. It's not by accident. They want chaos every which way you could think, bro, and they're getting it. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's like every day you see just now you got a possible war going on in the Middle East again, and and how that's going, like Trump kind of beefing with everybody, but it's like let me pull this up real quick. The thing for me is, like, I just feel like they are um doing these things on purpose, bro. Like, like I feel like the Democratic Party is actually um, you know, reaching out and making it where it's like hard on Trump
Canadian
to do
Prime
the things
Minister Mark
that he wants
Carney
to do. You know what I mean? And it's like, cause why else would all of these, with these countries be um, going through all this? Now, mind you, when it comes to the Iran situation, I think that we should be having. I feel like the only reason why we even have conflicts in the Middle East is because of Israel, bro. And that's not like some crazy shit. Like, that's just a fact. I feel like they have got us into these countless wars with the Middle East, and it's simple as that. You know what I mean? And I feel like we should not be even having these situations in the Middle East. But you just see just like how it's just so much stuff going on around the whole globe. Just like it's like it's like the world's about to self-destruct or something, like, for real, seriously. Like like it's just constant chaos every which way you look. Especially right now in America, but with all these fake organized protests that's going on. They're paid protesters. They're paid to go out there and resist Trump, and it caused the chick in Minnesota that what was her name, Renee Good or something like that, who got killed because if she wasn't programmed, right, MK Ultra, I feel like, honestly, I feel like all of these people are MK Ultra, because, like, it's no way that Donald Trump isn't really doing anything different than Obama did, right? When it comes to immigration, right? And but yet you would think that he's doing something that's like out of the ordinary, and it's just against everything, and it's not. And it's just because Trump is doing it, and because the Democrats do not want Trump to be successful in anything that he is doing. And I like, just think about that. Lowering taxes, lowering goods, lowering gas prices. Inflation dropped under 3%. all of these things he's telling the Fed to drop the interest rates so that way people can actually prosper here in America. And it seems like every time he's taking a step forward for America, these Democrats are trying to line shit up for him to take two steps back. And I just don't see how people don't see that. I'm not sitting here making it like every single thing Trump does is 100% right. But I feel like he's doing more for America than Obama, Biden, any Democrat right now for sure can ever do for America. I mean, think about it. Every time you look up, you see Democrats talking about taxing American US born citizens, bro. And then it's a slap in the face when you see all of this Somali fraud that's going on in Minnesota, the fraud that's going on in California, all the fraud across the United States of America that's going on. They're stealing our money, but yet they still want us to pay. They still want us to pay, and not only they want us to pay, they want us to pay more. Look what's going on in Chicago. Trump dropped the one big beautiful bill, which kept the tax um cut that he put in place in his first term, which is a net positive for America. Like, what do people think? Like, people think that like, yes, is he trying to position America to benefit all Americans? Of course. But if he looks out for the millionaires and the billionaires and makes sure that they're building factories here in America and creating jobs here in America, tell me how that's a net negative for America? It's not. It only could be a positive because it puts money in people's pockets, people able to get work, it boosts the economy, and it brings business here in America instead of shipping it abroad like they've been doing for the last 30, 40, 50 years. And I just don't see a negative in that. They talk about tariffs, oh, tariffs of taxes, but I just look at the long-term gain from tariffs. At the end of the day, you know, I think tariffs puts puts Trump in a position to make deals for fair trade. Like, he's exposed already how America has just been paying for everything, and that the EU and all of that wasn't paying their fair share in these deals that they had made already. So it's just so much going on, bro. Just these endless wars going on, and then it's these large fucking amounts of money that countries like Ukraine and even Israel is getting from America, and it's like for what, bro? It's like for what? And I just me personally, I feel like, and I'm sorry for ranting, but I feel like um everybody they want us divided. That's for sure. They want Americans divided. They don't want us to come together on nothing because that's what they want. They want control over us. And as long as we're divided over racism, keep talking about fucking racism, keep talking about LGBTQ queer rights and all of this stuff. As long as we keep talking about shit that really truly does not matter, they're gonna keep taking advantage of us. And understand, bro, it's at this point, bro, it's us against them. It's us against them. And when I say them, I mean the ones who are trying to tax the shit out of us, keep us poor, keep us from actually chasing the American dream. Just think about it. In 2025, Democrats have convinced half the country that being successful, chasing your dreams, getting money, and providing a great life for your family is somehow a negative, bro. That's crazy, to be honest. Anyway, man. Let me pull this up real quick. Mm. So first, let's get into. Hold on, before we start, man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. You hear me? Anyway, all right. So let's get straight into it, man.
At least one aircraft carrier is en route to the Middle East with other military assets from air, land, and sea expected to begin flowing into the region in the coming days and weeks. The White House still leaving the door open, though, for a potential strike.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences. The president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president. Only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that.
Senior fellow at the Independent Women's Forum and member of the Council on Foreign Relations, Dr. Kanta Ahmed joins us now. Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for being here. So the president is sending military assets to the region, and all options remain on the table. But there's also this Wall Street Journal report that says President Trump was told an attack on Iran wouldn't guarantee the collapse of the regime. The reporting goes on to say the U.S. officials and Middle Eastern partners told the White House the regime was unlikely to fall after a massive bombing campaign, which could instead spark a broader conflict. Smaller assault packages, meanwhile, could boost morale among protesters, but ultimately not change the regime's crackdown. So taken as a whole, how do you view all of this and where things go from here?
Iran is extremely militarized. The regime is defended by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, who are loyalists, fanatics, and actually the prime beneficiaries of Iran's corrupt and excavated economy. It is imperative the United States stands with the Iranian people, and I do believe the president will make the decision to strike ballistic missile launchers, manufacturing capabilities, drone factories, a number of other assets to begin with, which can be readily targeted by the United States without ground troops or any kind of invasion, which would be unacceptable for the president and the American people. Regimes don't die overnight, but this is a dying regime. And if we fail to stand with the Iranian people who are being targeted by snipers, shot in the face and genitals, murdered in their cars, meanwhile, we have an unknown body count which exceeds 10,000, some say 12,000 already killed, then we will go down in history as not standing up for the dignity and nobility for almost 100 million Iranians who deserve better.
So basically with this whole Iranian thing is that their their so-called leader right now is I guess on some Maduro type thing, uh not looking after their people, and they want a regime change over there. So I guess Trump is, Trump is positioning himself to possibly go out there and handle this situation. This stuff to me is just crazy, man. It's just like it just seems like one thing after another where America is involved, and and I mean, to a degree I get it. It's like when you're a superpower, when you're a country, and you got to protect your country from other country, and trade, and it's so much to it, and it's crazy that we can't as countries just fucking make trade, get money, live life, and everybody get to it. It's like unnecessary. Like, this stuff is so unnecessary that be going on. To me, I just think all of this stuff is just stupid as shit, and it's all got to do with power and money, and and then you got just evil. You got pure evil, spiritual warfare going on at a maximum capacity right now in the
Yeah,
world.
and that same Wall Street Journal report says that there is also a belief that President Trump could simply just be stalling for time in order to give military assets enough time to move into place. There was also this other report, Dr. Ahmed, yesterday about a phone call that President Trump had with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And that reporting says that
Every time I hear Benjamin Netanyahu name, I just know it's like not good, bro. It's not good, and I just don't trust the situation. Cause this dude is a bad dude, bro. He's a bad dude, bro. I don't care what nobody says, man. This dude does not care about America. When you see actual Jewish people, right? You know, alleged Jews, so-called Jewish people, whatever you want to call them, that are against, what's going on in Israel and the Middle East, then you know something is going on, bro. You know something is going on. But for me personally, we have already seen it with 9/11 and all, and then going to Afghanistan the first time. When they went there, it was all based on a lie. And who started the lie? BB Benjamin Netanyahu, man. BB. This guy is no good, bro. and he's going to be one of the he is going to be one of the I just don't think that they actually give a fuck about America. They look at America as a tool that they can use at their disposal whenever they want, bro. And that's what I don't understand it.
Prime Minister encouraged President Trump not to strike right now, and one of the reasons is because he's concerned that a larger conflict could be sparked as a result of a strike, which seems like a unique position for the Prime Minister to take, considering he himself has led the charge on doing that very thing. So what do you think about a potential larger conflict to be?
I think he feel that way because he's closer than Iran is closer to Israel than it is to America. So he look at it like, oh, this conflict can actually hurt them, you know.
Manifested after a strike and where the Prime Minister stands right now?
So, a couple of things. First of all, while assets and ships are on the way, the United States has an extraordinary military presence and support from the Kurdish part of Iraq, where we have our biggest assets in Erbil. So, we are ready to strike with imminent proximity. Secondly, nobody understands the Iranian threat better than Israel, that's been the recipient of Iran's tremendous proxy wars through Hezbollah and Hamas. And so, as well as the disruption of Syria by Iran and Lebanon by Iran, all of which has surrounded Israel with this awful conflicts. However, we don't know what's coming the day after in Iran. But I do have confidence in the Iranian people. They are highly intelligent. They're part of a 5,000-year civilization. Every Iranian that I talk to detests the tyranny they lived under 51 years, I think today, the Shah was forced out of Iran. And so there are many unknowns, but I think the United States is extremely well positioned, and I have every confidence the president is going to take action and make the best decision. However, what's made of that strike is up to the Iranian people. And we also have to remember Iran has amazing naval assets which control the outflow of oil in the Persian Gulf, and that is extremely worrisome to our Gulf partners and the global energy markets. But we can also manage that. So this is the beginning of the end. An American strike is going to facilitate that, but it is not going to end it overnight.
Sure. Meantime, President Trump in Venezuela.
Yeah, man. So it's a lot going on with this whole Iran situation for sure. And I don't know. We'll see what comes out of it. Where is way down there? Yeah, man. This stuff is crazy, man. And you know what's funny is because like they're trying to make it like all of this stuff that's going on. It's for me. I look at everything by design, and the whole thing is to make Trump look like a failure when you know, like, I mean, come on, goddamn. Yo, bro, as a president, you got so much already on your plate. So to be the president and have to make all of these important decisions, to do what's best for America, and then on top of that, you got your own country here at home. You got your own country, which is the Democratic Party and these liberals out here making your job even harder. Like you're trying to, all you want to do is just think about this. All illegal immigration is illegal. It's illegal. It's not supposed to be happening. Joe Biden basically made it to where these people could come here in these sanctuary democratic states and live and get everything, right? And now it's coming out, so Trump is deporting these people. And all they have to do is, help them. And they don't. Every single Democrat is on the same page with trying to make Trump look bad, and then in return, it just makes Trump look makes it seem as though he's not doing a good job as president. But he got to work twice as harder than Joe Biden ever did, and or Obama, because everybody's not on his side. Even the legacy media, half the country, and then you got all the Democrats, every single one of them. So that's a tall task as a president to have for sure. Let's get into this next story while RJ talks.
Canadian Prime Minister
Hold on.
Mark Carney doing something incredible, announcing a new strategic partnership with China, opening the door, he says, to more collaboration with the Chinese, saying alliances are shifting and praising this new world order, purposely challenging Trump's Monroe or Donroe doctrine. Also, President Trump beginning preparations to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. About time, posting about this today, assuring the public it will be handled quickly and effectively. Let's start with Canada.
China's strengths, for example, in electric vehicles, are formidable. They're undeniable. These are the most affordable and energy efficient and innovative vehicles in the world. And for Canada to build our own competitive EV sector, we need to learn from, partner with, and access and build supply chains with China. To help deliver on the full potential of these partnerships and to bring down costs for Canadians, we're going to start by allowing up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles into the Canadian market at the most favored nation tariff rate, which is 6.1%.
So for years, Canada with America have been fighting to combat, to curtail the Chinese. Decades of intellectual property theft. Americans invent something, and the Chinese, they copy it, rip it off. Not just Americans, Western countries writ large have been dealing with this problem for decades, for 30, 40, 50 years. The Canadians have worked together between American administrations, Republican or Democrat. It didn't matter, to combat this. In 2024, former Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, with the Biden administration, imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese vehicles and Chinese EVs. You can't buy a Chinese vehicle in the U.S. without paying a 100% tariff. This wasn't a Donald Trump-inspired policy, although Trump clearly agrees with it. Yet today, Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, deciding to scrap all of this cooperation. Mark Carney, by the way, who appears to have deep ties with Beijing, flying to China, meeting with the Chinese, and announcing a major thawing in relations, saying countries must choose a side. And he, Canada, has clearly chose China. Watch.
Mine is the first visit of a Canadian Prime Minister to China in nearly a decade. The world has changed much since that last visit. And I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
I believe the progress we've made in the partnership with China sets us up well for the new world order. What? Canada clearly choosing sides, and it's not with America. The move sharply diverging from Trump's America First policy, which was aiming to revitalize the North American auto industry, bring back our manufacturing base, something 2 years ago even Justin Trudeau agreed with. Currently, Chinese EVs remain effectively blocked from U.S. import. They were blocked in Canada as well. Not anymore. To buy a Chinese vehicle in the U.S., you have to pay double the price, 100% tariffs collected on delivery. Although in Mexico, there's been a noticeable increase in Chinese EVs, and now in Canada, we're about to see the same thing. Even Scott Moe, the current premier...
You heard that new world order. Hey, yo, I'm telling you, man, it's a bigger scheme at play, bro. Honestly, bro, like if I'm the U.S., bro, to be honest, bro, I would have actually, uh, I guess it is probably what you could say controversial, but I would have been trying to posture myself to be doing business with China, and to be honest, like why not? These motherfuckers is smart as hell. Uh, I think it's a positive if we could be fucking allies with China. To be honest with you, instead of being uh enemies, I don't see why we don't. I think I think that would be the best thing for America is to fucking be allies with China. Even Russia, fuck it. Like motherfuckers, like all this enemy shit is whack. Like you know what I mean? Like we need to start We need to just do good trade and get to this bag, get to this money. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I think that's Trump's ultimate goal because he said, like, they sell goods in our country, and for decades we have, they have been the only ones winning on them bringing product into the country. And let's be honest, bro. China makes cheap shit. They make, super cheap shit. Some of it is cool, but a lot of it is just bullshit. Let's be honest, bro. American made is the best way to go, to be honest. And that's what Trump is trying to do. And more importantly, open up foreign markets. I mean, you know, I think that's like the ultimate goal. But we can't get there if the cost to make the cost to start any business, especially with these big companies that it takes them years to get a project done because of all of the regulations. That's why Trump said for every what was it for every one regulation we're gonna cut 10 or some shit like that because it's extremely hard for companies. That's why they go overseas. That's why most of these industries that were here in America went overseas because it's extremely expensive for somebody to build here and to make money. So they go over to these other countries who are smart, who are saying, listen, we don't got to deal with all that. Just pay us this little fee. We good. You know what I mean? But instead, it's all greed here, bro. So capitalism isn't the problem here in America. It's greed, bro. Greed has always been a problem in anywhere. It's greed. You know what I mean? It's greed, it's power. You know what I mean? Whether you're talking about dictatorship in a lot of these countries, it's power. They only want the power, and it's one family or whatever the case may be. And then you got greed. These motherfuckers just want everything. And, at the end of the day, bro, people are turned into wolves, if they ain't. And that's what's happening here in America, is that these Democrats have ruined the country for the last 4 years. Now they're blaming it on Trump because he's the president. That's regular, though. That's regular shit that's going to happen regardless. But it's bad right now. And what you're seeing, a lot of people on both sides, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, is that you're seeing everybody, you know, getting to that point where I'm hearing conversations of people saying, "Man, I'm not paying taxes. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that." So, I think honestly, bro, if things don't get better, which I know Democrats don't want it to get better because they want people to fucking for whatever reason, I don't know, bro. I just think it's more so that you got it's multicultural here in America, and there's a lot of people like Ilhan Omar, and we're gonna get into that, who is in this country, who is who are who I believe somebody like her has allegiance to Somalia rather than here in America. She acts like she's American and all of that, but when you see her talk in her native language, you see that, she's really for her country. And I'm not mad at that because what you expect? What you expect? People are going to, back their culture, where they're from. Like at the end of the day, Ilhan Omar is not from America. You got a lot of people in the government that have dual citizenship to Israel, which having dual citizenship isn't a bad thing. But when it comes to being in the government, it is. I don't care what nobody says. You can't have two. You can't have allegiance to two countries. It's impossible. It's impossible, bro. So now we have so many people within inside of the government who is corrupt and have allegiance to Israel, and that's the reason why we have so many problems when it comes to that front. And then you got people like Ilhan Omar who claims to be an American, but really she is a fucking foreign asset as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? So it's just so much goofy shit going on in the government that nothing can be trusted. And at any time, bro, this shit going can blow up.
Of Saskatchewan was in shock about this disbelief about what his prime minister just said. You could see it in his face. It's all
He said it out loud too. He said for the new world order. We've been hearing about that forever. So, maybe we get into that point where that's what they're, where it's coming down to. And Canada is looking at it like I'm trying to be a part of it versus being against it.
over his face. Scott Moe's the guy in the background. That's the face of someone realizing their prime minister selling out their country. During Carney's Beijing trip yesterday, Carney also told Zhao Li, the third highest ranking member of the Communist Party. We are heartened by the leadership of President Xi Jinping and the speed with which our relationship has progressed. Imagine that was a US president saying that about China's leader. Well, that's what Canada is now dealing with. It appears Carney hasn't learned the lesson that flooding your markets with Chinese knockoffs isn't a good thing. All it does is decimate your country's own domestic manufacturing. What this does show is that the West is continuing its bifurcation. We are splitting apart, folks. In another story, President Trump reportedly preparing to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minneapolis. Reports coming out that the longer the riots against ICE continue, all it does is it strengthens the administration's legal footing for invoking the 1807 law, which states that the president is legally allowed to use U.S. military forces domestically to suppress insurrections or to enforce federal law when obstructed. That second piece is what the Trump White House is focusing on, to enforce federal law when obstructed, which clearly fits the facts on the ground in Minnesota.
For the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, what are you waiting for?
Well, the Insurrection Act, which has been used by 48% of the presidents as of this moment, the Insurrection Act also, if you look at it, I believe it was Bush, the elder Bush, he used it, I think, 28 times. It's been used a lot. And if I needed it, I'd use it. I don't think there's any reason right now to use it. But if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful.
Joins us now. And Jonathan, as you well know, the president came out yesterday and said, look, if this keeps up, I'm going to have to use the insurrection.
Yo, I know you seen that video of people stealing them weapons and shit and documents out of them ICE vehicles. So they getting out of hand, bro. I'm just being honest. And yeah, this is all I think about is this is what they want, bro. They want people out here wilding and doing their bidding. That's it. And most of them are getting paid for it. I don't believe all of them. Most of them are though. Most of them are paid to go out there, bro. These people got vans pulling up with signs to protest, with weapons, with fucking tear gas, mask, and all types of stuff, bro. Like these people are out there thinking that they're fighting for good. They think that they're fighting for good. And it's all to make Trump look crazy, bro. That's it.
Insurrection Act. And for those people who don't know, the Insurrection Act is called for when, quote, unlawful obstructions make it impracticable to enforce federal law. Jonathan, is it time?
Yeah, certainly the situation fits the law perfectly because you have consistent obstruction of the law encouraged by these elected officials, so they have no interest in even toning things down. I think it's appropriate, you know, and President Trump has let this go on long enough. And, you know, you look back to 2020, their city burned down because Waltz and the mayor didn't take appropriate action. And I don't think it's President Trump's going to allow that to happen again. So I think it probably is going to happen. I think it's entirely appropriate.
President Trump posting on Truth Social this morning saying in Minnesota, the troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists are, in many cases, highly paid professionals. The governor and mayor don't know what to do. They have totally lost control and are currently being rendered useless. If and when I am forced to act, it will be solved quickly and effectively. President DJT.
Man, they know what they doing. They know exactly what they doing, bro. They want this. They want this. They want this, bro. They want people out here bugging and wilding. Like they with the BLM shit, they let that happen, bro. That could have easily been diffused. It could have been a little, obviously people were definitely in their feelings at that time, understandably to a degree, but they could have stopped it, bro. Come on, man. Stop it. They want this stuff to happen. They actually are, like you just had Tim Walz the other day. Bro, they indirectly make, these threats. You know what I mean? Like, they'll say some shit like, we need to stand up to this tyranny. And, like, it's no tyranny going on. It's literally Trump just being a president. And honestly, if there was tyranny, if it was a president trying to be a dictator, none of this would even be happening at all. People would not be allowed to be out here protesting. Trump is letting people protest, letting them, express their First Amendment rights and all of that. And you see people taking it too far, bro. And it's called to see the thing that they want is they want what happened to the girl, what was her name? I forget her name, but the girl who got killed. They want that to happen. They need that to happen because that doesn't make Trump look good that people are dying, with this ICE stuff. But think about it. You got ICE officers out here going to job sites, going to these places, deporting illegal immigrants. They keep making it seem like these people, oh, they're working, they're doing this, and they might be doing that. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you got to come here the right way, like every other legal immigrant that has came to this country. And they're trying to make it seem like this is like crazy when it's not. Like, it's so crazy. People just don't care, bro. People are just slaves to a party. That's why I tell people, bro, stop being a slave to a party, bro. Because that's not, because it might come a time in the future where the Republicans are on some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's why I said, if you stop being a slave to a party, then you could, actually make logical decisions when it comes to fucking voting people in that's going to do the job that we need to be done. And the job that we need to be done, more importantly, is no fucking income taxes across the board. One set tax like 10% of some shit, and that's it. And make things affordable and do good trade with other countries and be more of allies with even these so-called enemies than anything. And stay the fuck out the Middle East. Stay the fuck out of there. We ain't doing business with oil or something, bro. Stay the fuck out of there, man. Like this shit is getting out of
That
control.
comes after yesterday Trump posting that if the corrupt politicians in Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking law enforcement who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act. Last night, border czar Tom Homan said he's scheduled to meet with Trump today to discuss potentially invoking this act, invoking the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, saying it's a viable option. We know it is. We know it fits what's happening on the ground and that this cannot continue. Watch.
Is it time for the Insurrection Act, or would that just add gasoline to the fire?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that, but it's certainly an option, a viable option. So actually, I'll be meeting with the president tomorrow. So, I think it's something that needs to be on the table because this cannot continue. There is going to be more bloodshed. I'm telling you. I hope I'm wrong, but I haven't been yet. There's going to be more bloodshed if something hasn't done.
It's going to spread, and most Minnesotans, by the way, and I want to say this tonight because folks have reached out to me, support ICE. It's this radical group of anarchists, and when you see them close up, you really get a sense of who they are. It's this crowd, a lot of them paid, a lot of them working, double shifts of protest against the rest of the state, which are reasonable, common sense, peaceful people of all backgrounds, including immigrant backgrounds. They don't like what's happened in the Twin Cities, and we're going to expose more about Jacob Fry in a moment. But Tom, I think most people are good people. They want the bad people out, and they want some peace in their neighborhoods.
And we're going to get the bad people out. And as far as the organization, everybody that's planning these protests, giving these people weapons and funding this, again, justice is coming because we're deep diving that whole thing.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, man. Shout out to RJ Talks, man. It's getting crazy, and he's right. It's going to be more. It's going to get even crazier if things don't, get handled quickly, bro. These people out of control, and it's crazy because what they do is you got a bunch of people that ain't even from Minnesota. I guarantee you, if you have somebody go out on the street like James Klug who does stuff like this, and I guarantee you, most of them people that are in Minnesota right now protesting aren't even from Minnesota, bro. I've seen videos of people saying, I'm homeless. they out here, they're getting paid. They all fucking hopping in a bus or whatever they hopping in, and they're going to city doing these things, uh, bro. Yeah, bro. The only way this stuff changes is if people start going to fucking jail, like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. It's the only way it's going to change. But we'll see what happens, man, with that because bro, just let these people do their job. Why is it a concern to you if illegal immigrants have to go back home? Like, why is it a concern? And then they try to make it seem like, oh, they're being treated horrible. And then videos come out of them. They got cell phones in the joint. They watching TV. It's regular shit, you know? Like, you're not supposed to be here, bro. That was the crime you committed. Now you got to deal with the consequences. They was here for 4 years, probably got a lot of shit done, probably sent a lot of money home. So it's time for you to go. It's that simple. This stuff is not sustainable. It's simple. You can't take care of 20 million, let's just say 10 million illegal immigrants that are here, soaking up all resources that are undocumented. And from just a national security, and people think when you think of immigrants, you're thinking of just like, people from fucking Mexico or Venezuela or something. Like, nah, these are people from everywhere. So the national security risk I think, honestly, the biggest issue for Donald Trump and his administration, because you don't know who's here. You got all of these people, and just think about all the resources that are being spent. Tom Homan brought this up a couple days ago, where he said, like, if they would just help us, let us go into their jails, get these people, and help us with this issue, this could be solved. But instead, they're making it harder on us. So now we got to get a whole team together. We got to go out here, and they're putting people's safety at risk and all, like, just so much stuff, like. So that's a big issue right now, man. Anyway, let's get into this next story about Ilhan Omar.
It is unfortunate that we are led by a president who does not understand the laws of this land. When the president...
Yo, is it me? I hate the way she talks. Like, she talks like she got a fucking remote in her fucking mouth.
Tweets as if he has the authority to terminate temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Even little kids in 8th grade know that that is not an authority that the president has and can wield.
A few moments later. Our team continues to follow major news surrounding immigration in the United States. And just yesterday, we told you the Trump administration will halt funding to sanctuary cities and states. And it also announced the end of temporary protected status for Somalis. This comes after Somali-run childcare centers in Minnesota were accused of fraudulently taking federal funding, something they've denied. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us what this means for Somalis here in San Diego and across the country.
All right, Patriots. Now, as you heard when we started this video, the illustrious Ilhan Omar had the audacity to say that the president of the United States did not have the power, that even little 8th grade children knows that the president does not have the power to remove the temporary protective status of Somalis. Guess what? She didn't get the memo that not only does the president have the power, he wielded the power. Now, in this video, you're going to be exposed to some information that's just really making this situation that much worse. And it's going to make us reflect on other blue cities and blue states like we're having to in Minnesota. The rabbit hole goes so deep. In this video, you're going to hear of left-wing radical judges in Minnesota who, after a jury of their peers, convicted Somali fraudsters. Wait till you hear and see what this judge did and why she did it, and the investigations and the repercussions that are coming down after that. What about the mayor of Minneapolis, who's up there demanding that ICE get the F out of his city? His wife she is entangled all in this fraud. And you're going to see that here on this video too. And you may say, well, Brian, why is this relevant? Because in your city, or should I say in your state, and maybe in your city, there may be small communities of Somalis, but maybe other nationalities that are committing the same type of fraud. And the civil and public leaders within that city and in that state that's supposed to be fighting for the American citizen is not. They're actually fighting for people who hate America. Because also in this video, wait till you hear what the president of Somalia had to say about why Ilhan Omar is here. Could she be a secret agent? All of this and more is going to be exposed in this video. Now, this first clip, I want you to listen to Representative Omar and what she has to say. And then I'm going to point out the irony in this statement. Check this out.
And so the idea that this is a white nation that needs to be preserved is a fascinatingly disgusting view, because this country is one for the many. And so
now, the way she wants to frame it as white nationalist country that needs to be preserved, let's not get it twisted. The founding fathers were of European descent. But by no stretch is anybody saying that the United States is only for white people. Obviously, There's all types of different cultures here that respect the American flag and identify as Americans. But again, what she's doing is going to the Democrat playbook of the old racial divide. Now, the fact that she says how disgusting, and then the way that woman talks with her fingers on the back of her throat, hurt me. It makes me want to tell her, spit it out. But the fact that she always talks about white this and how disgusting that is, and the most violent people in America is the white man. Ironically, Ilhan Omar, in case you knew or didn't know, her husband is a white man, her third husband, because her second husband was actually her brother that she married to give him legal status here in the United States as a member of Congress committing immigration fraud. But that's a whole nother topic in other videos that I've already tackled. But a company owned by Ilhan Omar's multimillionaire husband owes IRS over $200,000 in unpaid taxes from a sitting congresswoman whose net worth was negative $45,000 in 2018 due to student loan debts. Now in 2025, when she filed her paperwork with with Congress, guess what? Her net worth now is ballooned up to upwards of alleged $30 million. And how did this happen? Through donations, campaign funds allegedly funneled through her husband's companies, who his company was valued at only from $1 to $100,000 in 2022. Ballooned up to where the value was between $5 million and $25 million in 2025. So she's tied into the fraud. Her husband is tied into the fraud. And every single day, a new shoe drops. Now, I want you to listen to this patriotic woman who just so happens to be white, but she's speaking on behalf of what we all feel. And then I'm going to let you hear from the Somali president. But check this clip out.
You know what's interesting about the Somalian deportation? They want to remove the protective order. The person they need to blame is Ilhan Omar, because basically she brought so much negative attention because she's so arrogant. And the problem that these people don't understand is gratitude. Because basically it would be like you inviting someone over for dinner and then them complaining about the food and then refusing to leave, saying, we're not going anywhere. It's so rude and gross. And you know what? Like, nobody cares about your cause. Everybody just wants you to leave because we're so sick of this entitled attitude to our taxpayer money. Again, you invite someone over and they're like, give me your paycheck. I'm not leaving. And by the way, your house is a mess. These people actually are crazy. But you know what? Just like everybody else, you're going to get out. And someone like me can't wait.
Now, this woman is not alone, and she said it right. Gratitude. You were welcomed into the country. Nobody cared that Somalis was here doing their thing. Everybody knew that was a war-torn country, and there was zero problems. Think about it. There was no problems. 1991 is when President Bush allowed the temporary protective status for Somalis due to the fact that Ilhan Omar's father was a general named as like the executioner over there, while the genocide was rampant during the Isaic Wars. What was going on? They say the worst genocide ever. The Isaic Wars are mass persecutions or whatever you want to call it. During that time, that was Ilhan Omar's father. Her family was tied to that. So people fled to America. But remember, the key word is temporary. And so they had been here relaxing, chilling. I met Somali people before, but it wasn't until Ilhan Omar sent here by this man to divide and to attempt to conquer. But what she did, she came in and dropped the ball for all Somalians.
I don't care, bro. Ilhan Omar is a fucking, she's an asset for them, bro. And she doesn't give a fuck about America. Even though I seen this joint with Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil was breaking down her and like the age she came into the country and how she was able to be successful, become a congresswoman and all of these different things. And like for her to be the way she is and act the way she acts, it's like seriously like ungrateful as shit, to be honest with you. Cause like she came here, like, and if she didn't come here, who knows? She'd probably be fucking, unalived or something, or who knows, bro? Cause she definitely came from, a shitty past for real, like. And she talks about her country like, it's better than America. That's the funny part. Like, you would think that Somalia was better, and like she would have stayed, but no, she's here, and yet she's shitting on the same land that she seek refuge from. She's shitting on.
And so if anybody should be pissed at somebody, it's like that woman just said, they should be pissed at Ilhan Omar. But it doesn't stop there. Listen to what this man says her purpose is here. Listen.
xildhibaan ilhaan cumar oo magaca Soomaaliya qalin dahab ah ku qortay qadiyadda ilhaan ma aha qadiyad ilhaan ma aha qadiyad Minnesota ma aha qadiyad reer Mareykan قضية إلهام وقضية صومالية guusha ilhaan waa guusha Soomaaliyeed waxayna noo ximbaarsan tahay macno weyn.
See that is not Ilhan is not for the interest of America. She's for the interest of Somalia.
oo ku hadlayo magaca dadka Soomaaliyeed oo dhan meel walba.
Can't even be mad though, bro, because it's not like she's put it out there. This is not a secret, and this is why she needs to be fucking deported because bro. There's no telling the shit that she got going on, bro.
ay joogaan waxaan idinka codsanayaa inaad hiil iyo hool la garab istaagtaan ku taageertaan codkiina deriskiina saaxiibadiina cid walba ood garanaysaan aad u sheegtaan inay soo baxaan si ay ilhaan ugu codeeyaan albaab walbana aad u garaacdaan sidii dib loogu dooran lahaa ballanteennu waa maxay ballanteennu waa inaad garab iyo gaashaan u noqotaan xildhibaan ilhaan oo aad mar kale dibi doonataan idinkoo isku duuban oo ul iyo diila mar kale mahadsanidin allah idin barakeeyo soomaaliya ha noolaato.
Now, did you read that? Did you see that? He clearly, they said, she's not here for America. She's not here for Minnesota. She is here for Somalia. Ilhan Omar is nothing more than an agent of chaos on behalf of the Somali community, the Somali people. That's it, which is why she went into an area that's deeply Somali. And Somalians don't play politics. They do tribes. And what most people don't realize, there's a huge tribe divide. As a matter of fact, listen to this Somali woman as she lets you know, she asked the question, who is Ilhan Omar? But she says it in a way a lot less polite than the way that I just said it. Check this out.
Ilhan Omar oo halkan idinla joogta baa kule dadkii Soomaali isku sheega. Who the fuck is she? Who is she? At the next election, you have to show who you are. You have to show who you are.
Ilhan Omar is nothing more than an agent of chaos sent here to sow division and to steal billions of dollars to help fund terrorist groups allegedly in Somalia, to help American citizens become more divided, to create civil war and unrest here, to destroy America from within, just like her people, her family specifically, helped destroy Somalia while killing millions of her own people. Millions of our own people. So now she's here sowing this type of issue. And you got to ask yourself, what is this cognitive dissonance?
It's in her DNA.
How are the Democrats able to one day say that on January 6th, federal agents being attacked, which they weren't, is the worst thing in the world ever, and they doing candlelight vigils, but then also be asking for their voters, their base, to get out and fight and assault and obstruct federal agents? So what is it? Is it the worst thing ever in our country's history when citizens obstruct and attack federal agents? Or is it necessary to help save and preserve your democracy as they speak about? Because this is a republic. And whenever they say destroy our democracy, people got to realize what they're saying. They're the Democratic Party. When they're talking about destroy their democracy, they literally mean theirs. Because in their definition of democracy, a small few make the decisions for the large group on the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place.
Shout out to Brian Maxwell. And that's true, man. Hey, it's true. Democrats definitely want bigger government, more control over America, and this is a proven fact by what they do. Like, people talk about, oh, the party switched and, things like, bro, the party didn't switch. Democrats have been the same people for decades. They just disguise it. Malcolm X told you. They're the wolves in sheep's clothing. They smile in your face and then, shoot you in the back of the head. That's the type of people the Democratic Party is. They're hypocrites, bro. The very things like he just brought up January 6th and how even though they planned January 6th, Trump wanted the National Guard to come in and do all of that, but they refused it. They wanted this to happen. They ushered people into the Capitol, all types of goofy shit, just so they could say, oh, Trump tried to steal the election or whatever the fuck they were saying. Oh, he's causing an insurrection. But they're doing the very things that they say that, Trump does or did. Like, come on, bro. They got people out here by the thousands protesting. Yo, Maduro got caught at like 2 a.m. By 7 a.m., they had professionally done signs. They already knew that this was going to happen for however they knew, and they was ready for it. Because there's no way you get, like, professionally printed signs. Like, I'm talking about the large joints that it take, like, 10, 15 people to walk with in the street. Like, bro, this stuff, bro, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on, man. You know what I mean? May God bless America for sure, man. Because it's a lot going on in America, bro. Damn. Anyway, hope things get better, man. But that's the show for today, man. If you fuck with the show, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy on the road to 1K subscribers. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Until next time, this your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.